Good morning and welcome to Eastrose Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Also, welcome to 1995. We have no internet and no website right now, so nada. We have no slides because guess where the slides are stored. So we have the opportunity to use your hymnals today during the service. Okay, all right, so many of us have done this quite a few times before. So my name is Patty Walsh. I'm the worship leader today, and our speaker will be Kathleen LaFlamme. Kathleen will be speaking on, I'm going to read it so I get it right. Yep, I really am going to read it. This is not dependent on the internet. Kathleen will be speaking on the topic, Be a Gift. She will ask what it means to be a gift to others, how we can notice the moments when we, and we alone, can see and meet each other's needs. How can we be a gift to others while maintaining our own strength and boundaries? Kathleen LaFlamme is a member of the UU Church of Washington County in Hillsborough. And at church, she is a member of the volunteer worship team and an active member of the church's CUPS group, that would be the Covenant of Unitarian Universalist Pagans. When she's not at church, she works as a content manager and moonlights as a costume designer and seamstress. She is also an open water swimmer of mediocre skill and unimpressive accomplishment. You'll know what that's about later. Eastrose Fellowship sits on the occupied territory of the Clackamas Chinook people who were forcibly displaced from this land to the Grand Ronde Reservation in 1855. We acknowledge the sacrifice endured by the ancestors of this land, and that our presence here today is only possible because of the injustices committed against them. We recognize the inherent sovereignty of the Chinook Nation and the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde, who carry on the traditions, history, and legacy held by their ancestors from time immemorial and to this day. We seek a meaningful relationship with these communities that foster repair. It's now time to turn and greet our neighbors. Let's take a moment to do that. So, no need to face the cameras. You are welcome to stay after service and continue these great and enthusiastic conversations over coffee and tea and whatever else they have back there. Right now, I want to ask you all to open your gray hymnals to the reading 567 for our responsive call to worship. And pardon me if I flub a word, no bifocals today.
What's the number again?
Number 567. Okay. To be of use. I want to be with people who submerge in the task.
Who go into the fields to harvest and work and grow and pass the bags along.
Who stand in the line and haul to their places.
Who are not harbor generous
The work of the world is common as mud. Botched, it smears the hands, crumbles to dust.
But the thing worth doing well done has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident.
Greek amphoras for wine or oil, Hopi vases that hold corn, are put in museums, but you know, they were made to be used.
The picture cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real.
To come light our chalice. We light this chalice with an open heart. We light this chalice with resolve. We light this chalice with tears still fresh on our cheeks. We light this chalice in hope, a tiny flame we nurture. We light this chalice with reverence for this place, for these people, and for this time. We light this chalice with all of our soul's longing to be who we are, to be who we will become, to be ourselves. We light this chalice in self-love, in giving love, in holy love. It is now the third Sunday of Advent, and so time to light our Advent wreath. This, the third Sunday, is known as Gaudet Sunday, which is Latin for rejoice. It marks the halfway point of Advent and a time to celebrate the approaching Christmas season. We light 3 candles: hope, peace, and joy. The opening words are the words of Heather Ryan's Star. On this day, as with so many Sundays, we come in from the whirling world. The wind, the bright sun, the push and pull of tides and times, from the tumult of global news and local stories, the pain we hear of the demands on our spirit, the do this now culture that we live in. We come to this sanctuary from that windstorm, the rush of speeding drivers on the roadways, the rustling silence that fills some of our homes, the vastness of a once busy and perhaps now quieter house. All of this can leave us feeling stirred, unsettled. When we give our attention to what is going on around and beyond us in this throbbing world, we can feel that windstorm. We need places where we can come and find our grounding once again. Come in from the wind, come in from the whirl. May this be a place where we can experience genuine stillness, even just for a few moments. May this be a place that we can count on as it turns onto the driveway and walk under the trees, as you turn onto the driveway and walk under those trees to get to the door. Or as we turn on our computers and seeking our congregation's homepage. May we feel pulled into a restorative time of energetic peace. May this be a place of learning, of nourishment, a community that generates new zest in us for the dynamic beauty of this world. Come, let us worship together. I now invite you to join us in our opening hymn. Please rise as you are willing and able in body and in spirit to sing hymn number 226. That's 226 in the gray hymnal. People Look East. For the Story for All Ages, done by Toler, our family minister. And so can all the young folks and the young at heart come and join us up at the front.
Good morning. The holidays are here. Many of us are busy picking out or making special gifts for the people we love. Finding the perfect present can be so much fun, but we all have that one person who's really hard to shop for. Maybe it seems like they already have everything under the sun, or maybe you just can't figure out what they like. What starts as something fun can start to feel stressful, and that's not what this time of year is supposed to be about. But what if the best gift is something you can't wrap? Sometimes the best presents don't fit into gift bags. Sometimes you can't even see them or hold them in your hands. Today's story is called The Gift of Nothing by Patrick McDonnell of Mutt's comic strip fame. I'm sorry that you won't be able to see the pictures because they're very cute, but this is a good time to use the power of your imagination. Let's see what happens when a cat named Mooch decides to give his best friend, Earl the dog, a very unusual kind of present. It was a special day, and Mooch wanted to give his best friend, Earl, a gift. But what to get him? He had a bowl, he had a bed, he had a Chewy toy. He had it all. Mooch thought and thought, what do you get someone who has everything? Nothing. He would give Earl the gift of nothing. But in this world filled with so many somethings, where could he find nothing? Mooch often heard Frank say there was nothing on TV, but as far as Mooch could tell, there was always something on TV. Mooch often heard Doozy and her friends say there was nothing to do, but as far as Mooch could tell, everybody was always doing something. Millie came home from the store and said there was nothing to buy, so Mooch went shopping. I don't know if you guys have been to the mall at this time of year, but Mooch looked up and down every aisle. He found many, many, many somethings. The latest this, the newest that. But as far as he could tell, nothing was not for sale. So Mooch went home and sat on his pillow and just stayed still, as cats often do. And not looking for it, he found nothing. So he went and got a box and put nothing in it. Then Mooch thought, maybe Earl deserves more than this. So he got a bigger box. Now that's plenty of nothing. For me, said Earl. Mooch, you didn't have to give me anything. Who told him, thought Mooch. Earl opened Mooch's gift. There's nothing here, said Earl. Yes, said Mooch, nothing but me and you. So Mooch and Earl just stayed still and enjoyed nothing and everything. Sometimes the very best gift is the gift of yourself, and that's something you can give all year long. And now we'll say goodbye to the grown-ups and make our way back to RE. If the adults along the center aisle will form a bridge, we'll sing the children out.
It is now time to quiet our hearts and minds for a few moments of silent and spoken meditation. Please begin by sitting with your back against your seat, feet flat on the ground, and arms comfortably in your lap. Feel the earth firmly beneath your feet. Now gently move your shoulders back and down. See if you can soften your face, your neck, your shoulders. Close your eyes if that is comfortable for you. We will share a breath together. Begin by taking an exhale to clear your lungs. Now, take a big inhale and exhale together. Now we breathe slowly and gently for 4 beats in, 5 or 6 beats out, at a pace that is comfortable for you. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Feel the breath as it moves through your body, maybe in your nose or in the back of your throat, or even in your chest or stomach. Feel your spaciousness increase as the breath moves through you. And let your love fill this space. There is no judgment here, no rush, no lists, just you and your breath. There is no right or wrong way to breathe. Now we slowly come back into this room together. Gently move your hands and then your head or shoulders. Open your eyes if you've had them closed. We'll take one last big breath together. Inhale. Exhale. Please now remain seated and sing with us number 123 in the gray hymnal, Spirit of Life.
Our reading today is by Anne Voskamp, the Christian author of Be the Gift and the Broken Way. Real life is happening, and it's happening right now. What if, instead of waiting for good things to happen to us, we could be the good thing to happen to someone else who's waiting? What if, instead of sitting in life's waiting room, waiting for a chance for something good enough to happen to check off a bucket list, what if abundant living isn't about what you can expect from life, but about what life can expect from you? What if the point of everything is simply this? Change your life expectations to focus on what life expects from you, and your life changes. The world is brokenhearted and full of suffering, and if you listen to what life needs instead of what you need from it, you could fill the brokenness with your own brokenhearted love. And this will, in turn, fill you. What if you were not afraid? I really like to swim. I'm aware that I'm not very good at it, not compared to some of the people I follow. As you probably know, every year, hundreds of people attempt to swim across channels, the Catalina Channel, the English Channel, more challenging swims like the Sugaroo Strait, the swim around Manhattan. It's a whole thing. Marathon swimming is a whole sport. And one of those stories really speaks to me. In the early morning of August 3rd, 2010, an Irish swimmer named Donald Buckley stood on the shore of Dover, England, and waited for the boat horn to start his attempt to swim across the English Channel. For channel swimmers, these swims are kind of like initiation rites. The English Channel isn't the hardest one, but it is the internationally recognized swimmer's rite of passage. Especially for UK swimmers, either you have solo swum the channel or you have not. A marathon swim requires a lot of things: a boat, a crew, endurance, time, a lot of money. And for the English Channel, the swimmer hires a boat pilot from one of the organizations that certify English Channel swims. That the pilot monitors weather conditions, decides when the swim is going to start, stays in contact with maritime authorities and captains of the approaching ships in this very busy shipping lane. There's also a support crew. They monitor the swimmer's speed, stroke rate, and progress. They mix and throw bottles of liquid fuel because the swimmer can't touch the boat or they forfeit the swim. A swimmer's crew can make the difference between success or life-threatening failure. Now, there's one person on that boat that the swimmer doesn't choose: an observer who's assigned by the organization that certifies the swim. Their job is to verify that the swimmers touch the shore on the other side, note the finish time, and sign the report, or as they say about the English Channel swimming observers, watch the swimmers stand up in France. To avoid accusations of cheating or manipulation, swimmers don't know very far in advance who their observers will be, and they don't get to choose them. They're assigned from a list in a rotation, and you get whoever you get. So the day before his swim, Donald Buckley was gobsmacked, his word, to learn that his observer would be Kevin Murphy, the British swimming icon known as the King of the Channel, because of his record number of 34 English Channel crossings. He was the first Briton to complete a double and eventually a triple crossing of the English Channel. He's one of the very few people who have crossed the brutal North Channel between Ireland and Scotland. Kevin Murphy is an open water swimming legend. Everyone in the sport knows who he is. Buckley's swim started well, but it quickly became absolutely terrifying. As the winds picked up to force 3, he was twice thrown underneath the boat and cut by the propeller. As he approached France, the winds reached force 5. The last mile to the French shore is already challenging. Strong currents push swimmers away from the rocks just as they close in. Many swimmers have almost reached that shore and been unable to get in. So while he struggled in force 5 winds, the crew realized that visibility to shore was 0. Even if he reached the rocks, the observer couldn't see him stand up. So Kevin Murphy, observer, veteran of 34 crossings and swim rules expert, jumped in and swam with Buckley at a legal distance. He wasn't allowed to lead him, touch him, or help him, but he could follow him to the shore. Buckley stood up in France at 9:17 p.m. Murphy noted the time, and they swam back out together in those scary winds and swells. It took them an hour to reach the boat. Murphy would later say that Buckley's swim was the scariest he'd ever been involved in. And this guy did a triple crossing. The next day, Buckley wrote in his swim blog, loneswimmer.com, excellent resource, quote, "The channel eats plans and aspirations. It tests and tasks us. But to be spat out a channel swimmer at the end? Well, I found some form of redemption in the heart of the sea. I'm a channel swimmer. No other title matters." So with that title under his Speedo, Donald Buckley went on to make huge contributions to the sport. He and Evan Morrison co-founded the Marathon Swimming Federation to set international rules for those marathon swims. He is a respected voice for sportsmanship and safety. He completed the Ice Mile, which is a mile-long swim in water at or below 5 degrees Celsius, and then testified to the Olympic Committee about why the Ice Mile should never become an Olympic sport. He's organized charity swims for the Orange Project, a suicide prevention effort that's important to him because he has clinical depression. He crews for other channel swimmers, and his extraordinary blog is an amazing library of swimming science, training tips, and inspiration. His cold water information alone has probably saved some lives. Did Kevin Murphy know that Buckley would do all that when he jumped into the ocean and swam with him to France? Surprisingly, probably yes. To understand why, you need to know that Kevin Murphy was a journalist in his day job whose work sent him into horrifying violence. He understands trauma and PTSD. The first major story that he covered in his late teens was a fire where he found the body of a burn victim that the first responders had missed. Bombings and mass shootings during the Troubles in Ireland, the terrorist attack on Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland, the economic devastation and rising violence in Margaret Thatcher's London. And while his colleagues were drinking themselves into early deaths, Murphy avoided that path and went swimming instead. His most impressive swims, including the North Channel and his first English Channel double crossing, all follow extremely violent professional years. And then in 2009, at age 60, he was made redundant, abruptly, permanently laid off after a stellar career. He told H2 Open magazine in 2018, quote, "I needed a reason for living, so I thought, what are my strengths? The obvious one was my experience of endurance swimming, and I decided I wanted to be a grand old man of the sport, passing on my experience to others. I enjoy mentoring swimmers at swim camps. I enjoy talking to the swimmers in Dover. If I can help or advise, I will." That is an understatement. Kevin Murphy doesn't just talk to swimmers. He inspires and encourages talent. He learns other swimmers' stories. He knew that Buckley swam to manage his depression. Kevin Murphy is Donald Buckley's hero, and there is no way he didn't know that. After his channel swim, he revealed that he had switched places with another observer to put himself on Buckley's boat. Nobody else's name on that observer report would have meant as much. Kevin Murphy threw himself literally into the ocean because he knew that Buckley wouldn't fail with him watching, and that then he would go on to inspire others. That is how you become a gift. So what can you give that nobody else can? How do you know when you are the gift? Those questions are almost the philosopher's standards. What is my purpose and why am I here? Many religions and cultures claim to have those answers. Scripts that tell us who to be are not in short supply. As a man or a woman of this race or tribe or from this social class or this church, your purpose is X. Play that role, and your tribe will approve. God will approve, or at least won't condemn you. Those scripts are used to control and organize large groups. They say nothing about what you can give. We learn generosity early. We teach 5-year-olds to find the joy in giving someone else a birthday present. Most of us have donated to a charity or a church or helped somebody move. Those are good things, but they're things that a lot of people can do, things that almost anybody can do. They aren't the same as stepping into a gap that only you can fill. So how do you know? Do you hear a voice? Do the heavens part and shine a beam of light down upon your personal mission? Is there an app that you can download that gives you opportunities to serve your fellow man? Probably not. But if you let your energy flow out into the world, you will find an opportunity that aligns with something unique about you, something you are or know or have or that only you see. Start with who you are. You have life experience. You have important relationships. You have a place in the world. Are you somebody's parent? Nobody else has the impact on your children that you do. It's been proven that young children become resilient through strong relationships. You can give a child that gift. Can your reputation and support open a door for someone else? Can you help them walk through it? Who admires you? Your approval is powerful to them. You probably won't have to dive into the ocean to help them, but if you do, please tell me that story. Do you have a special skill? Maybe you don't think so, but consider these people. The addict who helps other people get sober. The IT person who helps his neighbors secure their home or church network so they don't get hacked. Foster parents. Survivors of violence who become activists. Big, scary-looking dudes who walk smaller people to their cars at night. Or someone in the right place at the right time who speaks the right foreign language to help a tourist find their way. These aren't superheroes or saints. I don't know any of those. The best people I know are seriously flawed, but flawed people can still see what other people miss. Jerry Larkin, a Zen Buddhist priest from Michigan, told a story about her novice years as a Buddhist when she was just learning the path. She was driving through an area where she had once lived, and she stopped at a gas station. She was practicing mindful awareness of her surroundings. And she saw a black man trying to use a payphone standing near a broken-down car. She also saw a group of young white men watching him, really watching, as she put it. And because she'd lived there, she knew that that area had an active Ku Klux Klan chapter. Despite her fear of strangers, she went up to the guy at the phone and asked him if he needed a ride. He was stranded, and he was very grateful. She might have saved him from violence that day. No special skills needed. So how can you be a gift? Start with radical self-awareness and equally radical empathy. Take an inventory of yourself, your skills, your experiences, and your strengths. Ask yourself what you can offer, and then be prepared to rethink it. Your best ideas can be quickly upended by the radical empathy part. What do the people around you need, really need? Not just the people that you know well, but foreign tourists or the guys stranded at the gas station, strangers you haven't met yet, someone facing a problem that you had last year. When you let your energy flow into the world, it can show you new ways to be useful that might not play to your strengths. This might challenge a part of you that isn't quite finished. If that sounds like Joseph Campbell, he would agree. In his famous book, Hero with 1,000 Faces, Campbell notes that giving is the final stage of the hero's journey. Campbell divided the classic Western hero's journey arc into 17 milestones, divided into 3 phases: departure, initiation, and return. The hero accepts a challenge, often after refusing it at first, that takes him away from everything he knows. He meets a mentor who gives him something that he needs to complete the quest. He endures his trials, wins his prize, or achieves his objective, and then he faces the hardest part of the journey, which is the return. He's got what he came for. He's often comfortable there and not too inclined to retrace all of his steps, but he is not done until he returns and uses the gift or passes it along to those in need. In some stories, his wiser self is the gift. In his famous dialogue with Bill Moyers, Campbell said, quote, "If you realize what the real problem is, losing yourself, giving yourself to some higher end or another, you realize that this itself is the ultimate trial. When we quit thinking primarily about ourselves and our own self-preservation, we undergo a truly heroic transformation of consciousness." In other words, this might hurt. Send me anyway, because it's not all about me, not anymore. Buckminster Fuller, the great 20th century thinker and designer and architect, often told a story about his own transformation. In the 1920s, he was broke, drinking heavily, barely employed, and he and his wife had just lost a child. He walked to Lake Michigan intending to commit suicide and talked about hearing a voice that told him that his life did not belong to him, he belonged to the universe. And if he was just going to throw his life away, why not make it an experiment? Why not be a gift to humanity? Whether Fuller actually heard that voice is unknowable, but he told that story so many times that it's very clear that he believed it. Until his death in 1983, he worked to develop innovative designs that he hoped would improve living conditions for all of humanity. Some were great successes, others total failures. He and his work were not always well received. He had to decide over and over again to keep trying to be a gift. This approach to life will change you, and it can humble you, and some people really don't want that. Some people give to feed their egos. They're constantly saying, I can do something valuable. I can be powerful and give other people what they lack. I have more than you, so I can share generously. I know more than you, so I can lecture you. We've all met people who think they're, quote, God's gift to humanity. Parents whose constant gifts keep their children from fully growing up. Narcissists who trap people in their orbits with fake generosity followed by guilt trips. They don't consider whether those people actually want or need their help. Sometimes they don't even know what that person needs, and sometimes you are definitely not the gift that someone needs. If giving mostly serves your own ego, it's probably time to take a step back. You are also not limitless. Some professions and religions and cultures and families program people to think that no matter how much they give, it's never enough. This world is full of people who will take everything you give and demand more. You do not have to give people what they want just because they want it. Boundaries are healthy. Even the sea has shores. This world community is big and you can't do everything. Follow your values and your talents. Make your contributions there. And don't feel excessively guilty about not being able to do the rest. The Jewish chapter of the Fathers says, you are not obligated to complete the task, but neither are you free to desist from it. Give what you are called to give. Let other people do other things. While I was originally working on this sermon, I emailed Donald Buckley, that Irish swimmer, to confirm a detail of his swim. Now, we've never met. We've been in brief email contact, but we're not friends. He lives in Ireland. We don't know each other. But he knows where I live, and he looked up my swims, and he answered my question and then asked how the water was in Oregon this time of year, and how the shoulder surgery that I had in 2018 had recovered. Just fine, thank you. And whether I'd done the Catalina Channel yet. And then he sent me some useful information for when I swim the Catalina, which I have not done. I was absolutely stunned that this accomplished swimmer with thousands of online followers who's never met me was asking about my swim goals. Then I realized he's giving me his expertise. He's being the gift. Each of us can be a gift somewhere to someone. We just have to figure out when, where, and to whom. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. Could you now please join us in, as you are willing and able, in body and in spirit, in singing song number 404 in the gray hymnal, What Gift Can We Bring? That's hymn 404. Each week, we at Eastrose take an offering to support the work of this church and to share with community nonprofits. This quarter, half our offering will go to NAYA, the Native American Youth and Family Center, which serves self-identified Native Americans, infants to elders, across the Portland metropolitan area. And I clobbered some text in my thing, so I'll tell you what I know about NAYA. This is a group that is designed for Native Americans living in this urban community. They provide services all the way from infants to elders. It is elder guided. Their goal is for an active, healthy, substance-free, engaged, culturally appropriate community, and they are a group which we are connecting with over this next year. And I believe they are also the group that we are connected with for a Christmas project that I'll talk more about more in the announcements. Let us now receive the morning offering, remembering that what we give today is more than just the money that we give. It is our presence, and it is a sign of our commitment to each other. We sing our song of gratitude. This is hymn number 1010 in the teal hymnal. That's 1010. We Give Thanks is the name. Kathleen will now extinguish the chalice. Together, we have enjoyed the warmth and beauty of stories of this flame and of this special community. As our chalice flame is extinguished this morning, we can still remember that its glow is carried with us. We can use our inner light and this flame to kindle new sparks throughout our lives and in the world. May the spirit of peace and togetherness bless our lives. time for announcements. First, I want to remind everybody to look in the pedals. There are a lot of activities this week and the following week, so make sure you check them out. Going to be some interesting things to do, and also you can check out the holiday schedule there for services. I have here also an announcement for, I read this earlier, to talk to Karen Pyle about gifts for Naya, Christmas gifts. Karen, raise your hand. There she is, right there. And I believe Phyllis will be involved, Phyllis, our own Phyllis Adams, in a Christmas concert. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have the paper I was handed giving me the date and time. So Larry can fill you in at coffee about Phyllis's, let's see, Phyllis. Oh, Larry has the paper. So anyway, come hear Phyllis singing Christmas carols and other things. And now it is time for benediction. Oh, I have a hand. Okay.
I'll make it quick. This Friday is Snowcap, Be the Gift. Come and help us fill bags or whatever they ask us to do. It's a chance for us to get together as a group and do something good for a very good charity at the Snowcap building on Stark Street at 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. So anybody can join us, please do.
I'll repeat that for the mic. Snowcap, this Friday, 3 o'clock, helping package or do whatever it is they need us to do. Snowcap is a large program in East County that meets the needs of residents there. They provide food, assistance with utility bills, etc. And we have been going there, volunteering once a month, filling bags or doing other things we're asked to do. 3 o'clock on Stark Street. You'll have to look up the address. I don't remember it. And now, finally, benediction. Keep this chalice burning. Be kind. Be brave. Be just. Be merciful. Be hopeful. This is how we keep the chalice burning until we are together again to light it anew. Now, please join us in the back for coffee, tea, hot chocolate, whatever we got going. And you are now returned to 2024.